Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fightday Fanboy. If you enjoy the show, do us a favour, like, subscribe, do whatever you can to help us dominate these algorithms, alright? Alright, thanks guys, enjoy the show. Fightday Fanboy, episode 3. How are we doing? I'm here with the legend, the one, the only, wearing his Robert Whittaker shirt. Peter Walsh, how are you?
Good, brother. Good to be back on another show of Alex and the Bad Guy.
Alex and the Bad Man.
I'll take it from here, guys.
I'll take it from here.
You can bounce.
You can bounce. Nate, bring me my coffee. All right, guys, massive card on the weekend. One of those cards, guys, that literally we will remember. Not if you might like leave Sunday thinking you won't remember it, but this is one of those cards you're going to remember forever. We have literally one of the greatest of all time retiring. And just fucking, what an amazing performance. Ridiculous. Leaving behind a legacy. Not everyone expected him to really retire. I think everyone sort of was under the impression that he would go to the 30-0. I guess like you would think the same thing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
We all thought that, and to be honest, like from here on out,
part of me still thinks there's a small room of doubt that I think that he could possibly come back if the circumstances are right. I mean, Khabib does seem like the kind of guy that is a man of his word. They're very strict with their culture and the way they do things. But like fucking, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, does it? Like 29-0, it's just not the right number.
Yes, but maybe it's just the fact that we are clouded by this Western world glory. You know, he's out there in the Himalayas of Russia, whatever the fuck it is, the mountains of Russia. You know, he doesn't have to worry about all this
Dagestan.
fame. Yeah, Dagestan. All this
fighting bears.
Fighting bears and whatnot. So I think he is a man of his word, and it's crazy. We'll get into that a little bit later. But just in terms of like what he's done, per se, this is the end. Per se, we're never going to see another Khabib fight. He leaves the sport fresh, untouched, 29-0, only lost one round in his whole career. I mean, it's up for debate, but really only lost one round in his whole career. What does his legacy and his retirement mean for MMA and everything going forward? That's a question to you. That's a very fucking heavy question to start me off with. But I'm just going to fucking drop it on you. Please, tell me. What do you think?
Look, first things first, I'm very upset that he has retired, obviously. The one fight that everybody, and I think everyone listening always wanted to see, was the fight with Tony. And I think if he had that fight and done that fight, then it's a different question. He would be 30-0. And, you know, he is going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. And, you know, we've obviously heard the controversy this week with, John Jones having a sook about it. And I was listening to that and I was like, I'm not taking it away from Khabib. My honest opinion, though, is, you know, John Jones, in my opinion, you know, he has a very valid point. He has been doing this since he was 21. He was the youngest champion, you know, and he's still doing it. And he's had 14 title defenses or 15 title defenses, whatever it is. Khabib is mauling people. Absolutely more. And what he did to Justin Gaethje, that was so, you know, very one-sided and very dominant. But he's only done it 4 times. He's only defended it 4 times or 3. Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah,
and it's
4 times. You're right.
You know?
There's a lot of great points.
The way he's done it is incredible, you know, comparing it to someone like John Jones, who's, you know, still building his legacy. The way he's doing it is just phenomenal. He's just doing it in such spectacular fashion. It's only we just got to the peak of his career. I honestly think where he's starting to become really exciting to watch his skills and actually question just how good he is. And then he fucking throws the towel in. Like, it's just, I'm devastated. You know what I mean?
That was the first Khabib fight I genuinely found ridiculously exciting in a long time.
It was,
Hype aside, like genuinely in the fight, it's the first one I actually found that was genuinely exciting, and I feel like we saw something different that we hadn't seen from his other fights because you just didn't have to see anything different. And I think that's a testament to Gaethje, and people aren't even really going to address that. A lot of people just look at that as one-sided dominance, but I truly believe that
Mhm.
Gaethje did bring something out of him in the little things that he did in round one.
Gaethje had a phenomenal performance, absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal. I think he fought his best fight, and
yeah,
he went to his game plan. Obviously, we'll talk about his game plan on the last podcast, but he actually did that. He came out. He threw what 7 or 8, 9 leg kicks and was landing, and he was busting Khabib up.
yeah.
And then I think Khabib just sort of, Khabib can sort of dictate. He dictates the fight to always go to the ground. That's what he likes to do. He likes to get his takedown and start working from there. But he can choose. He seems to choose his own path in every fight. He was standing with Gaethje fine and
Yeah.
taking those shots. It
That
just
wasn't,
made just.
in my opinion, that wasn't going to be for much longer. And I know a lot of
That's
people are
what I
going
mean.
to say that.
He went into panic mode and just like, yep, enough's enough. And then when he decided I'm going to take it, he just does what he does. He just does.
Yeah,
There's no stopping him.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy.
He's nuts, and that's the thing
Absolutely
is like
crazy.
when he knows it's fucking go time, it's go time, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And now
It's
look,
fucking Khabib time.
it's Khabib time, and now it's not Khabib time. Now it's
I know.
there's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways to feel about this. For me, there's like three really main takeaways. There's obviously the fight that I've dreamed about for so long. I'm never going to get to see that. It's sort of like
Mm-hmm.
that girl in high school that you always wanted to ask out, and then she ends up going with like a new fucking boyfriend, and then you just miss. It's the one that got away for me. Khabib and Tony's always going to be that, and it actually makes me sad.
Yeah.
It's like,
Is there a girl that?
yeah.
Is there
Well, this is
something
why
else
I
you want
made
to
this
talk about?
podcast. This is why I made this podcast. I'm trying to reach out to her. I'm trying to get attention any way I can.
Oh
Sally,
gosh.
I miss you, Sally. Anyway,
Mm.
so apart from that, there's the fact that Khabib is, to me, Khabib, I believe in my head with the way MMA is evolving, Khabib is the last true specialist. And what I mean by that is in a world where everyone's training like mixed martial arts, he was training mixed martial arts, of course, bit of boxing, but he was the last, I think he's going to be the last true specialist where he's so dominant in one sort of skill set
Mhm.
that I think now in this world, we're talking like 2030, 2050, because this is what we think. You got to think about it in the long game, how this sport's going to evolve. I think
Mhm.
everyone's going to be way more well-rounded in MMA, but I think he was the last guy to really be that specialist and just absolutely destroy and dominate in the wrestling department. And I think that's
Yeah.
massive. And I think people are going to be looking at him as the greatest of all time for a very long time.
Fine. Yeah.
And then
100%. That's the funny thing with sports. Is sports are always evolving. People are always getting better. 10 years from now, you look back and the skill set's just going to be even more evolved. There's going to be more killers out there, and it's constantly happening all the time. But he has started a new era of
yeah,
just skills that we've seen in the cage that no one's even seen before. Takedowns
100%.
and moves and transitions, and even that submission that he got on the weekend. Like, I don't think I've seen something like that done.
You know what's funny about that
Everyone's
submission?
seen a triangle choke, but not from that position and not that easy on
No.
an elite competitor.
Take this for what it is, for what he said, and I don't really think
Is this
Khabib's
the
a.
armbar?
Yeah, you heard about that? I don't
Yeah,
think Khabib's
I
a
only just
liar,
read it before.
but he said he, instead of going for the armbar, because he saw the armbar, he decided to change because he wanted to choke him out rather than to make his arms snap and have his parents panic. Justin Gaethje's parents panic, who were in the crowd, which is
Yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
nuts.
This is the crazy thing about Khabib, and I half believe him too. It's like he has a pick your own path.
Yeah,
I'm going to beat you this way.
yeah. Well, that's the thing
You
is,
know.
as soon as it got to the ground, it was so quick and so dominant, like anything I've ever seen. And it's sort of like, if I was to imagine someone to come with the game plan that Gaethje had and tackle that pressure and move forward, and then when it got to the ground, be able to use the jiu-jitsu skills. Because I truly believe Justin Gaethje, for the level he's at, probably doesn't train enough jiu-jitsu.
He's never
I
been
don't
on
think.
his back.
I know his weakness is jiu-jitsu.
He's never been down. Yeah.
That's the thing. So, like, if Tony Ferguson was to do that, and I don't even want to, it makes me sad to think about it. If Tony Ferguson was
I
to be
know.
in that situation, it could be a whole lot
Tony
different.
Tony likes to be there. So
But you can't
this
even look
is
back at it. like that bitter. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like it's happened, it's over, and yeah. But my third takeaway,
We're allowed to be bitter. We are fans of the sport, and I mean, I'm not taking away his Khabib, and I completely understand why he's retired. But I just have more of a hard opinion on it. You know, as fans, we want to see what we want to see. We want to see the fights we want to see, and it is heartbreaking.
It's true. If you had to choose between Khabib, so Khabib to face GSP, Tony, Connor, 30th fight, one fight, what would it be?
You know the answer to that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And I think everyone listening already knows the answer to that. Like,
I know.
And I think everyone listening agrees. Fuck Connor. Fuck GSP. Like, fuck
It has to
him.
be Tony.
Like I'm a huge Connor fan. I've always been on the Connor train. I think he's the most exciting fighter to watch still to this date. Anything with Connor and I'm there. You know, if it's a fucking work day, I'm calling in sick. Like, we're always going to be like that with Connor, but that's not the fight that I want to see.
100%.
The fight I always wanted to see was Tony. And I mean, we've seen the Connor fight. Connor's the only person that he's lost a round to, you know. That's another discussion in itself, whether Connor can get it done the second time. You know, we don't know how good Connor is. He probably could. Still don't want to see it.
Pretty decent wrestling. I know.
Still don't want to see it.
Here's my third takeaway, all right, and we'll leave it at this. We'll cap it at this. John Jones is such a fucking conceited prick. Like, the problem is the guy is so likable at sometimes, but in the worst times, he's just the most least likable person.
I like him.
Sports history. I fucking despise him. Like, sure, you're making some good points, but for fuck's sake, it's been 10 minutes since the dude is retired. Give it a fucking break, John. You've already got enough asterisks on your fucking career as it is for you to just question someone who is near perfect in a division and not be able to give him a number one pound for pound spot. You're a piece of shit. Like, and I respect fighters. I love fighters. You know, like I couldn't do what you could do, John Jones. If I met you in a dark alley, you would murder me in about 3 seconds. But you are a prick. Like, my God, that's all I can say. That's all I can say.
So is this the post he put on Instagram, or what did he do? What exactly triggered you? Because I've seen the Instagram post where he's like 14-4, and he's like, you know, I've had 14 title defenses, and yeah, Khabib's, you know, so dominant. But could you imagine me if I fought an unranked guy?
It's that and about 20 other tweets. Like, he put about 20 other tweets. He's like really the GOAT, and like he said something like, just because the guy's retiring, like, we're gonna fucking give him this. It's like, fucking shut up.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it, and like, it just makes me feel like I want to see him get slept. Like, he was
obviously on the source.
On the source,
which is fucking John Jones's biggest demon.
It might just speak to his competitive aspect. Maybe he just like really doesn't care either way. He wants to get his respect, and like, fair enough. I just think
you're right. I agree. John Jones is a prick. He's not very intelligent. He doesn't know how to market himself well in the sport. He's made a lot of mistakes that have worsened his career. But with what he's saying, there's part of me that does tend to agree. He's been doing it for a lot longer. And yeah, he gets tested more in fights, and he has closer fights. I mean, his last win by split decision with Dominic Reyes. I mean, but he's still winning, and he's still defended that title 14 times. That does account for something, I guess, pound for pound number 2. But he's just been doing it for so long, you know.
Look, I seriously.
But 10 minutes after the fight, that's rough.
Yeah, I know. If you want to know my opinion, if you want to know my real opinion, he's right. I believe John Jones is the greatest of all time. When people talk between GSP and Khabib, I'm like, no, John Jones is hands down the greatest of all time. Just by the competition, the title defenses, how long he's been doing it, everything else. He is the greatest. I agree. Yeah. But fuck, man, he's a promotional nightmare in so many ways.
Yeah.
He's just a promotional nightmare. All right. But moving on from
Agreed on that.
Moving on from that, now that Khabib's gone, rode off into the sunset, you know, he started fighting for his dad, and then he retired for his mother. Fucking beautiful, beautiful story. Good on you. Fucking, we wish you the best, Khabib, in retirement. Alhamdulillah. Anyway.
Alhamdulillah.
But now we have a vacant lightweight title picture, and what we have is a lightweight, which was, in my opinion, a lightweight division, which is just as exciting as it was, like, you know, with Khabib on top and like Khabib and Tony and that whole sort of process. Now we've got something where the division's freed up again. And it's not just freed up in a division like light heavyweight where we just have Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz. Now we actually have
seven or eight
killers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I want to play a bit of matchmaker here. Obviously, we've got the new blood in Michael Chandler. We've got Tony Ferg, who's been overlooked in this situation. We've got Connor and Dustin, who are, you know, the new best pals at fucking fighting in January. And you got a few
for the
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was saying fighting for the Good Fight Foundation.
The Good Fight Foundation. That's my problem with like Tony's grievances. That's also a bit of a promotional nightmare as well. Like, I understand exactly where he's coming from.
Tony's had the short straw drawn for a while,
for about 3 years,
and I feel bad for him because he's tried. You know, if we all know that they've tried to match him up with Khabib 5 times, and that fight is, I honestly believe to this day, it's cursed. Yeah. And now, you know, it's never going to happen. But fucking Tony's just taken every fight in between that the UFC's offered him, fights that do nothing for his legacy, nothing for his career. I mean, they still pad his record to a sense. I'm not saying that Cowboy's like a bum, but fights that he doesn't really need to take, you know, when he was the top contender for such a long time. And then to have that loss against Gaethje, it was just a bit of a, you know, no one thought that was going to happen. And now that throws him back. I don't think he should be stripped of another shot.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's just annoying to me that this guy who has like a fight anyone mentality is like just completely, he should be rewarded for that. He shouldn't be That's
what I mean.
Like, yeah. Exactly. He should be rewarded for that. He shouldn't be punished for it. And the fact is, he kind of has been, you know what I mean? I think Connor and Dustin are in that situation now, which is great. And it's all for charity and it's all good. And it's a lovely fight to be made. But those guys are already fighting. Do we?
Yeah, in my opinion as well, I don't think it's going to be a title fight. I thought it made sense. It made sense at first. It's a vacant title. Chuck those two guys, they're already fighting, throw a belt in there and make it for a title. But the more I think about it, the more I think it doesn't make sense. They're already fighting. I don't even know if that's what Connor wants, to be honest.
Me neither.
You know?
I don't know if he's still playing with welterweight, because at the end of the day, to me, when he was going back down the lightweight path, it seemed to me like he was doing that for one reason, and now that reason's gone.
Yeah.
So Habib's not there. So to me,
I don't think the title there really interests him, which opens it up to the other 7 killers.
Exactly. And then,
so what do you reckon, the matchmaker?
Okay, so for me, I don't put Conor versus Dustin for the title. To me, what makes the most sense to me, and this kind of sucks because this throws Tony Ferguson out of the picture again. I think you put Conor versus Dustin in January, and then you have Justin wait, even though Justin Gaethje said he wanted to fight in 6 weeks, which is fucking insane.
He's an animal. Only Justin Gaethje would say that too. I don't think the commission will allow it because he went unconscious.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I think it's 3 months.
It depends on the commission, and I'm not quite sure what the Middle East commission is fucking allows or not. It doesn't allow.
Yeah, if he wasn't shot, he's good to go next week.
Because the people in the Middle East community is just going to put on Deontay Wilder versus anyone, with it cross boxing or anything, put on anything for the mass money. So I don't really know what the sort of restrictions are there. But the suspensions are usually commission based. But look, if Justin Gaethje is good to go, I think my suggestion is to him, if I was fucking going to play his manager role, I would wait it out till January. And like I know Justin Gaethje doesn't have this mentality, but I would wait it out till January, have Conor versus Dustin fight, and then I would have Conor versus Dustin fight Justin Gaethje for the winner of for the vacant lightweight title. That's what I would do. But then that throws away a lot of stuff. That throws away
a
the
lot
possibility.
of other contenders.
Yeah, and that's the problem with it. But to me, that makes the most immediate sense. I mean, you've got Chandler there, but to me, in terms of like trying to decide, I know he was going to be the stand-in for Khabib and Gaethje, which, fuck, man, if you think about it, that almost happened. Like with Khabib, like he was fucking rough on that weight cut.
Yeah, he did look
That
rough.
almost happened. But I don't think it's fair for Tony to fight Chandler. But then at the same time, I think if it works in his favor, that's sort of put him on the map by destroying the new guy really quickly. It's not fair for Chandler either. Do you like the matchup of Tony Ferguson and Mike Chandler?
No, I don't. I like it, but I don't think it's the right fight. I think that there's plenty of other fights, you know, the ones that are forgotten about. You know, I think a good fight to see would be someone like Charles Oliveira versus Tony
Ferguson.
I think that's a killer fight.
That's a killer fight.
I think that's a fucking slippery snake chess match.
Because he's like a mini him.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good boxer and he's got great jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah,
that would be an incredible fight to make.
I think if them two went to the mat, you would see some incredible stuff. They both have so many different tools. But yeah, it's who else is there? There's
we got what's he
brought up before.
This is my
Dan
opinion.
Hooker.
So here we go. My opinion is, if it all works out perfectly, start Michael Chandler against Dan Hooker.
Beautiful.
It's fair.
I like it.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I don't think, I think when you leave one promotion and go to another, like Ben Askren, you get a couple of tune-up fights. I don't think it's right that you've just come over from another promotion. Yeah, you're top of, your rankings over there, but that you get to go straight to the UFC and get a title fight.
That's not fair.
I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to everyone that's been in there fucking climbing the ranks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unfair to the people that you've been paying for that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
These are your fighters. These guys are stepping in for you. How many times did Tony Ferguson stand in for fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
then you've got the question now that Khabib's gone and, Khabib slayed practically all of them, besides we never got to see the Tony fight, but it begged the question, just how good is Ally Quinner? and he's ranked number 8.
It begs the question.
I checked the rankings. He's in the top. He's in the top 10. Why not bring him back in? He's the one that's done the best so far.
He's legit. He's legit as fuck. But the problem is, I think sometimes people they don't make a bit too much of it, but I think there's a thing to be said where obviously Khabib was training for someone else and then he had to fight Ally Quinner and switching up the styles in that quick sort of a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, Ally Quinner does deserve his fucking.
He's relevant.
Yeah, he's relevant, and he deserves to be. It deserves to be said. He probably lasted long. He lasted the longest with Khabib, and probably gave him the best match.
Yeah,
matchup. He didn't take it around.
I reckon that's a potential fight for tune-up fight, so to speak, for Chandler. Chuck Chandler against Ally Quinner.
Ally Quinner, yeah, exactly.
That's give him number 8 first. And then give him, someone like Tony or Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's, I think, 5th, or and then, we can talk for hours. You give Tony, Charles, you just have a big tournament. Have a fucking a whole lightweight card of the top 8, and then the winners fucking you could easily cull it down to 4. Say Tony gets the jump on. Tony gets the jump on Oliveira, fucking Chandler gets the jump. Then you can match up, Tony and Chandler. And then the winner of that, gets the winner of, Dan Hooker and bloody fucking Connor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Just fucking put them all in the cage and see who comes out on top. I guarantee you it's Tony Ferguson. I guarantee you Royal Rumble. Just
Royal
fucking
Rumble.
all in. Like
Tony
fucking.
Tony Ferguson rises from just a blood fucking pool,
Just
just
real quick,
smiling.
real quickly. Have you seen that? Have you seen like the Russian 4-on-4 MMA matches?
No, but I've heard of them.
Yeah,
I
they're
think I've
horrible.
seen small clips. Yeah,
It's fucking terrible. It's fucking awful. And so you
lots
got
of
four
punches in the
guys here.
back of the head and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like you got four guys here, and then one gets done with two, and then he turns around and smacks three, and I'm like, this is awful. This is not the
And
way
it's
the sport
real.
should be. Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's
Yeah,
MMA
jeez. Yeah,
fights. It's four on
that's
four.
rough.
All right, so played lightweight matchmaker enough. I think the possibilities are there to have something pretty incredible, no matter what you sort of do and chuck in.
My prediction is something will go down like that. Like Connor will fight Dustin in January, and they will probably have another two lightweights on that card.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that
that's
makes the most
possibly.
sense.
I can see the matchmakers doing that. Whether or not a title is going to come out of that after that or whatnot, this is the funnest part about this sport is the speculation. Like we just don't know.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. I don't think Dustin and Connor is going to be a title fight, but
it
only time
shouldn't
will
be.
tell.
It shouldn't be. But
Yeah.
then again, how much money is it worth for? How much money is it worth to have Connor holding up that belt in front of a full stadium, their first event back to fans?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
It's a lot of money, you know what I mean? But either way,
Yeah.
apart from that, there's a lot of other highlights on the card. Obviously, we had Whitaker. We had there he is. There's the shirt. Obviously, we had the prediction god coming through again.
Yes.
Whitaker
And I'm
on
down. I'm
points.
down another case of beer, aren't I?
That wasn't for Whitaker. That was for
No, for Gaethje, but
no, that was for Cuter Love. Is what we
oh
said
yeah,
the case
yeah,
on.
no, that's right. That's right. That's another one.
Let's
Oh,
talk about that really quickly.
I owe you 2 cases of beer. I'm saying it
That was
live.
that was
I owe
shocking.
it.
It just proved. Well, we're gonna like scrap the case on that one. I don't feel right. That was like
No, bet's a bet.
bet's a bet, I guess. Bet's a bet.
We'll
But
we'll create another one soon.
yeah, that oh, it was a nasty fight. It was and like Ion Cutelaba held his own for a bit, but then it just fucking the skill set prevailed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just a clear, quick shot.
I am very satisfied that Magomed is the deserving victor and a better fighter.
Yeah.
I just didn't think. I don't know. Something gets stuck in my head, and I just thought Cutabala was going to pump him. I lost a lot of money. Didn't just lose
Now,
a case. I lost a lot of money.
I know. Like, dude, but to be honest, it's good because now you got like another proper light heavyweight contender, right? So you got
Yeah.
you got him, you got a few other people sort of vying at the bit. Oh fuck, you got that dude. They're just trying to set up a fight. What's his name? John? No, not John. Not John. Um, the dude with that really impressive performance. He just got a really good fight lined up. It's like it's a really hard name to pronounce.
Yeah. Did he just
Yeah.
fight on the card?
No, he
No, he
didn't
didn't just
fight on
fight
the
on the
card.
card.
He literally just he's got a match up with fucking I can't remember it now. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Not
But
Batoli. No, not Batoli.
no, there's literally a few people that are lining up, and they all seem like Eastern European. Like it's going to be an Eastern European division. You got Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, they're all coming out of nowhere, aren't they?
And it's good, man. It's really good. It's really exciting. There's Krylov as well, Nikita Krylov.
Yep.
There's a lot of light heavyweight looks real good. It's looking real good for the first time. And I don't know what it is about Eastern Europe.
That division did die for a long time.
Yeah, it was dead for a long time, and even that's right. He's fighting Dominic Reyes. This new guy is fighting Dominic Reyes. Let me 1 second. Hold on, I'm not going to leave without fucking saying this guy's name because I fucking got to get it right. It's just Dominic Reyes. I'll find it was on Brawlers. Also, if you guys want the latest updates, follow this page, Brawlers. It's BRWLRZ. This shit will give you like this all the latest tips. What's in the works, what's official, what's confirmed. It's great. It's
This is
great.
the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah. Jiri Prochazka.
Oh.
Jiri Prochazka. But yeah, that's in the works. Him versus Dominic Reyes, which is it's quite a step down for Dominic Reyes, but it's sad because he was going from what he did against John Jones not that long ago, and then just being totally pumped, like totally sort of a bit outclassed.
Let's be honest,
Jan.
that was an upset. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
he was a strong favorite.
I think people are starting to realize that not everyone Dominic Reyes wasn't as incredibly skilled as we thought, and two, fuck John Jones, he's fucking fighting scrubs.
He's a fucking prick.
He's a fucking prick.
Look, this is the interesting thing about MMA is that you can get a fighter that might not be as skilled as other fighters, but they're just a bad matchup for someone. And I honestly believe Dominic Reyes was a bad matchup for John Jones. He had the length and he's big, and he gave him problems in different areas. But then someone like Jan, we all know MMA math doesn't work, but then someone like Jan Blachowicz just runs through him. But then John Jones probably runs through Jan,
Yeah.
You can't do the math on it. I mean, he finished Dominic Reyes in spectacular fashion. Could he do it to John Jones? Probably not,
No, yeah. It's those complete fighters that give John Jones problems. It's those Gustafsons, those kickboxers, boxers on the feet. It's all those guys that are just like complete athletes that are going to take on the athlete, because John Jones is the greatest athlete MMA's ever seen.
Yeah.
So you got to get some of those real athlete hybrid style people. Or Francis Ngannou, whatever the fuck you want. But
Francis Ngannou is going to give John Jones problems.
I know. I can't wait for that.
I'm so excited for that fight. That would be the next in line after Tony Khabib. That's what I'm going to fucking put my pennies down for, that I hope that happens.
But Stipe apparently isn't as hurt as what he is. I know there was a reported injury, but apparently now they've decided to target Stipe and Ngannou for March. So
wow,
that's exciting. And that put money on that sports bet that fucking end of 2021 Francis Ngannou champion.
Yeah. What's that paying again? $1.50.
Yes. Yeah, I can't believe it's that low. That low.
Yeah.
I know he's beaten fucking a lot of people, but it's just
The funny thing is the way the bookies do this stuff, because he was no match. He didn't win one round in the first Stipe fight, and he was on a tear previous to that, and then he was on a tear after. But Stipe clearly won that fight and dominated him. But the bookies are going to open Francis the next time around as the favorite again.
Yeah,
it's just silly. It's just silly. If you had any betting sense, you'd put your money on Stipe again.
Yeah,
even though I reckon Francis probably get it done, but just the betting shouldn't work like that.
I know. It just shows that they're not always right. But anyway, not getting too off topic here. The other thing that really stood out was the Whittaker performance, which obviously went to a decision with Jared Cannonier, which was just a fucking awesome fight. Like, I felt, in my opinion, that was fight of the night. There was a few prelim fights I didn't end up catching just because of how early the card was here. I think it started about 5 a.m., the main card here. For me, it started, 4 a.m. for you?
It was an all-nighter for me. Yeah. It was an all-nighter. It started my time, started at 1 o'clock. So it would have started Sydney time, 2 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the prelims, but yeah. By the time Bobby Knuckles came on, it would have been 6 a.m. Was the sun up? The sun would have been up.
Yeah. There's a bit of an echo on your end. Can you hear it? Or I can't. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've just plugged my phone into charge. I'm not actually using the headphones anymore.
Oh no, you're right. What was I going to say? So with the Whittaker performance as a whole, I thought after that one, that's pretty much secured him to be a fucking. He's the next title contender. Like,
He looked incredible. He looked incredible.
yeah. Like, I don't care what.
Am I echoing that bad?
No, it hasn't. Hold up. If I talk like this, maybe no, it's fine. The echo's gone. I can't hear it on my end anyway.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
And sometimes when
Yeah.
I think it's when it mutes out like that, you can hear a little bit of like
Yeah.
what's the name?
Whitaker looked incredible, man. The Whitaker I saw personally, I don't know if you would agree, but the Whitaker that I saw on Sunday Fight Cannoneer, that Whitaker can beat Adesanya.
Yeah. He
looked sharp, he looked agile, he was quick, and he had the power, and it was just incredible to watch. Incredible performance.
To me, he just needed to have those few fights after he got washed out by Adesanya to show us who Robert Whitaker really is again, and he did it. He's done it enough. He did it with Till.
Yeah.
Now he's done it with Cannonier. He silenced everyone, and now, like Dana White says, because like obviously Adesanya seems like he's kind of like, oh, I've already done that. I don't. He's a guy who's very goal driven. He wants to start taking heads if they're like claiming him like bounties. Sure, he's beaten Robert Whitaker before, but
he can't have Cannonier now, so
exactly. So who else is he going to fight? And at the end of the day, it's a massive fight for Australia and New Zealand, and it's another trip to Melbourne for us, provided fans are all good again.
Yeah.
It'll probably be in,
yeah.
It'll probably be in Bankwest
Victoria's
Stadium.
pretty cooked right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I would say it would be in Sydney. That's where Whitaker would want it, and I think Whitaker deserves it this time.
Yeah. No, 100%. All right. So after we had a pretty awesome UFC 254, where obviously we had one of the greatest of all times retiring, now we have another greatest of all time retiring in literally the midst of a week. Like what a crazy year this has been. Like when you think about it, like dude, 2020, we end up in Fight Island, pandemic, fucking sweeping the world, taking away the Tony and Khabib matchup, doing everything else. Now we're back
Don't forget Henry Cejudo also retired in the middle of a pandemic.
Oh yes, that's the definitive greatest of all time. I forgot. Triple C.
The Triple C.
No one's ever done it. No,
right in the middle of a pandemic. And then we had a whole bunch of other fighters just fucking come out of nowhere. Like that fucking virus, Chimaev.
Oh, dude.
When the virus showed up, he showed up.
We got to talk about that later on. We'll save that for another podcast. But him, when it comes later to the date, Chimaev versus Leon Edwards is such a terrific fight. And
dude.
I know. I'm insane.
Conversation for another time.
I know, but it's nuts. Anyway, so we've got Anderson Silva retiring, and obviously for a lot of people, especially people who sort of started adopting MMA around that era, he was the guy. He was the guy for a very long time. And now it's sort of gotten to a stage. It's different if there could be a retirement, because I'll just say it as blunt as possible. It's not long overdue, but it's something that sort of it's coming around that right time where sort of everyone's been like questioning it for a fair while now. So Anderson Silva's going out against Uriah Hall, which is a very interesting fight, given his last few fights, and sort of he's had a few like pretty awesome fights since then. But before we get into that, we're going to start breaking down. There's 3 fights that piqued my interest on this card, and we can talk about a lot of the main card. I can sort of sum it up a bit later on sort of my own time, but I want to get these 3 matchups out of the way. The first one is Andre Philly versus new fan favorite Bryce Mitchell, Peter Walsh fan favorite. Yeah, I think he's your hero, isn't he? You look up to him.
I like calling them when they're young.
Yeah, I understand.
And I see huge star potential in this kid. I see huge star potential, and it was like the same with Sean O'Malley, even though that went a bit south for a while. But I reckon we could sit here now and look back on this in a year's time. That kid is just phenomenal.
Oh, ridiculous. And for him to do what he did against Charles Rosa, right? Like, it's just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
3 twister attempts. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you start seeing, like, this homegrown talent and you're like, what's the hype around him? But then he just exceeds every single one of your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And then some. Puts on these performances where it's just like, how the fuck does he do it? But
That
now,
last fight, man, that was on the UFC 250, whichever the Ferguson and Gaethje fight card was.
yeah.
They kicked off the prelims in that fight, I'm pretty sure, and that was my favorite fight of that card. Honestly, like I had the
Oh,
biggest stiff during that
it
whole
was
fight,
incredible.
just watching his movement. I'm just gonna be real with you here. Like I loved it. I was actually watching that on my phone in the car, and I had to fucking. It was just one of those fights that, like, it's a prelim fight. I was on the way out. I was going out to watch the fights, and I had it on in the car, and I had to pull over. I had to fucking pull over and watch it, and it was just watching this guy just threaten submission after submission after submission. He never got one. It was points, but there's so dominant rounds. And this guy, Charles Rosa, he's a BJJ guy. He's nobody's fool on the ground. You know what I mean? But just the arm triangle choke attempt after arm triangle choke. And he's just laying there going, what the fuck? When's this guy going to give up? And just the pace and the energy and the movement. And then the twister submission attempt. He was just doing it to be funny.
He was
Like it was
nuts.
almost like he was just doing it to play with him. Like because he
Playing
got
with
the
him.
twister and he got the submission of the year and he's just doing it and doing it. He's like, fuck's sake. This guy, I remember looking at Charles Rose's
Nuts.
eyes and he's just like, I just want this to be
Oh,
over.
do
I
it.
just
Yeah, I
want this
know.
fight to be over.
And generally, when
Yeah.
you see someone who wants it to be over, they give up to a point, and then that's when you can really play with them, right? That's where
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell had him in the
That's where you get the
pocket.
submission. But like,
But
yeah, this guy's
but
nobody's fool. So he just still hung
Charles
in there. But
Rosa, Charles Rosa is a great fighter. He's a genuinely great fighter, but
yeah.
he's no Andre Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So Andre Philly
So
is a
Greg,
pretty
this is his toughest test to date, and we will know on Sunday what Bryce Mitchell's made of. This you'll
100%.
know. We will all know, regardless of the outcome. You will know Sunday if Bryce Mitchell's going to be a star. If
Yeah,
he's given Andre Philly 10-8 rounds on the ground and gets the takedowns easy, and he's never been up against a top striker,
yeah.
and
No, you're
Andre
right.
Philly's a good striker. He's not shy of grappling or anything, but there's a long history of these grappling guys that come into MMA and they get slept, like
I
the Damian
think
Myers of the world and stuff like that.
I know. I know. There's potential for him to have a real struggle in the striking game, but I just seeing the level that he's on, I think this is in a way this is his. If you were to compare it to Kamzat, this is his Gerald Meerschaert fight, right? And
Yeah,
I honestly don't think he's gonna have. Call me crazy, but I think Bryce Mitchell's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done,
hmm
and I think he's going to get it done impressively. Maybe not as
hmm
impressively as what he did with Charles Rosa, but I think it's going to be still definitive, and it's going to be something where he's going to be able to get a submission, and maybe he'll have to work for the submission. It's not going to be
yeah,
something he can do it comfortably, but
yeah.
he's going to get this done. That's my opinion.
hmm So you
Who
reckon
you-
it's gonna be a submission finish?
Submission finish. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. What about you?
Bryce Mitchell's undefeated. I think it's going to be. I agree. I think it's going to be a submission finish. I think we'll know Sunday if he gets that submission finish. I think that opens up a whole new ball game because now he's starting to enter the top 10, and he's going to give a lot of those boys problems. He's going to be on
Yeah,
that
man.
Kamzat. He's going to be on that Chimaev sort of level. Everyone's going to not want to fight him. He's going to have to battle his way through, but he's going to be a problem for a lot of them.
I just think he's got that will, man. I think he's got that sort of will where when you got that unbroken will like that, it sort of tends to work in special ways, and I think it's working with Chimaev in that way as well. Philly's
Yeah,
been there; he's been through the ups and downs, and sometimes it's a positive. But I think in this case, against someone
yeah,
who's so fresh and so young, but then again so skilled, I think this
yeah.
guy he's just come out of nowhere, and he's taken it by storm,
He's
man.
he's a bloody uni student. He's studying.
I know,
He's
it's
still a kid.
nuts.
You know
It's
what I mean? To
nuts.
be at that high level when you're that young, It's crazy. Like, it's just crazy to think of in 5 years' time, what could he be and how good is he? We'll know Sunday.
We'll know Sunday, and I think, man, we might all get like just shut up because of this, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Bryce Mitchell's gonna do it.
I'm going to go for submission as well. I'm going to go for submission round 2.
Yeah, you fucking stole my pick. Fucking round 2.
I got him. Round 2 submission. Will we agree on that one?
Yep, done. There's no case on that one. We're sweet.
No.
Let's shift it over to. I literally think, like, it's something we have to talk about, and it's one of those fights which is, a guy who's proved us wrong in some sort of ways. Someone who you may have questioned his sort of constantly pushed. You may have questioned his, I guess, ability to be like a top contender, but now I question it less, and I think he's improved, and I think he deserves his credit. I don't think a lot of people give him it, and that's Greg Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want about him, whether he's a horrible person or whatever you're like, prior offenses aside, shout out to Richard Pryor. Prior offenses aside, look, man, he's shown a lot. And with Volkov, you see how dominant Volkov was against fucking Walt Harris, who many people consider the top contender.
100%.
Greg Hardy's done pretty well to get to that spot. Now he's up against Maurice Green, who is the master of
nothing.
The master of fucking fighting hungover and getting arm triangles from the bottom. So
Jack of all trades, master of none.
I don't know. He is Maurice Green. You got to give it to him. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter, but he's sort of different in. It comes in waves with him. Like, to me, like in that fight where he got that sort of arm triangle, I think a lot of people admit there wasn't much of a showing for him in that fight. It was sort of like, it looked like he was on the back end and then somehow clinched up that submission. You know what I mean? It was just insane.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if I look at that fight, if I look at Greg Hardy and I look at Maurice Green, I don't think there's much to really talk about. It's a co-main event, and obviously it's a very interesting one. I think Maurice Green's definitely a lengthy striker. He definitely has the option to sort of make, to give Greg Hardy some problems. But to me, looking at those two fighters and looking at the recent performances, I think Greg Hardy gets it done all day.
He's a lot fitter. He's an athlete. He's certainly got that attribute to his advantage. And I think that's such a good attribute to have in the heavyweight division.
Ridiculous
and this is what's crazy, coming from the background he's come from, and all the athleticism. I think that's why he's only new to the MMA world, but he's given these guys problems because he is so fit. And he can go the distance. He'll go the 3 rounds, and I'll tell you, he'll outstrike him, even if he's not clean with his striking. He'll outstrike him. He'll outmove him. He's just a phenomenal heavyweight. He's just a phenomenal athlete, and I think that's his key to winning this fight. I see the fight going to points. I don't. He's not shy of a knockout of opponents and the lesser ranked opponents. I just don't see him getting a knockout. I see a points victory though. But I definitely see Greg Hardy winning.
Maurice Green's not Volkov, but he's not Jorgen De Castro. He's a bit less of, he's that real mid-ground skill level. It seems like Volkov was a bit much, so they took it back down, and now it's sort of slowly working its way up again. But I think Greg Hardy will surprise, and I think you can put him in the top 15. I think there's a genuine spot for him in the top 15. Just to survive and last with Volkov in that sort of way, it says something. You know what I mean? You can't.
He didn't look bad. He didn't look bad. He didn't look as bad as Walt Harris did.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he didn't look bad, and he went the distance. And Volkov couldn't get a finish. That made him very hard to finish, very hard to hit, just because his energy was still there.
his energy there and the pro athlete career, dude, these athletes, some of these athletes, especially NFL athletes, they cross over and they do very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very, very well. Like, I mean, look at Lesnar, same thing. Lesnar wasn't necessarily like a fighter. He had some wrestling background and he was, you know, obviously he was in WWE, he tried out for the NFL, but those cross athletes, once you teach them, they're amazing. And you got to remember every single month that he's not fighting or every single, he was fighting. So his last fight, correct me if I'm wrong, that was pre-pandemic, yeah?
No.
No? Greg Hardy's
Jorgen
last fight?
De Castro. Yeah, Jorgen De Castro. That was pandemic.
That was pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even so, like it's been a while, maybe been about 5-6 months now, at least 5
That
months.
was on the heavyweight card. That was on same card as Alexei and Verdun. That was on UFC the 252, whichever one the Gaethje and Ferguson was. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so May, so 5 months. So we're looking at 5 or just even, about just 5 and a bit months past that. So every month, my point is every month that we don't see him, he's getting better. And it's not like, it's like people are finding a way to train in this pandemic and they're doing it. So he's getting better, man. And like every time we see him, I think he comes with a bit of
And he's getting
more of a
better at an
well-rounded.
incredible rate as well.
All he
Because
needs
he does
is
have that athleticism.
he just needs that well-rounded confidence. And that's what I think he's gaining slowly.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, here we go. The big fucking... I need to give a Bruce Buffer intro for this one. But the main event, Anderson Silva's retirement fight, it's time. It's time to discuss this one. What do you take from this fight? What do you think? Like, just given Stylebender, Cannonier, everything all together, his last few performances, what do you think about one of the GOATs of the sport, Anderson Silva, going into his final fight?
Look, between me and you, I hope he wins. I really hope he wins. I think he just needs a win to go out on. He's lost 6 of his last 7. It's not looking good for him. Uriah Hall is a ranked opponent. He's very good. And he's a fucking KO artist. Anderson Silva's not, I don't think he's washed up yet, but he's definitely on the way out of his career. No offense to him. He's done amazing things in his career and he's going to go down as, probably the greatest to ever do it. I just hope he wins. I really hope. I'll be rooting for Anderson on Sunday.
Oh, man, everyone will.
Yeah.
Everyone will, man. No one's going to be sitting there like, fuck yeah, glad Uriah broke his leg. Like,
like fucking Cannonier, yeah.
Like, what kind of a piece of shit?
Uriah Hall is not an easy opponent for him. I think it's a winnable fight. I do. I really do. I think he can win it, but I'm rooting for Anderson. I really don't. I can't. I don't want to give my prediction on that.
Yeah, you don't feel right giving a prediction.
I just can't. But pretty much by me saying that, you know what my prediction is. I just want him to win. I just want him to win.
I want him to win.
I want him to win.
I want to win. So for
but
me,
it's not looking good for him. You know what I mean?
For me, to be honest, I'm predicting a round 5 spinning heel kick KO from Anderson Silva. I think he's got the tools to do it. And here's the thing. The last 2 opponents that he had start. So Israel Adesanya, title contender, step in for that fight. Now middleweight champion. But when he had that fight, there was some sort of energy about it. It wasn't that Anderson Silva was not on the level of Adesanya, but it was almost like Adesanya enjoyed playing around with who he considered his hero. I feel like there was a lot of taunting.
And he was his childhood idol growing up.
Yeah. And I think they got into a battle of reflexes, and that was really good. But I think, to be honest, if it was a kill or be killed title scenario, I think it would go a much different way. I'm not saying the end.
So what you're saying is you think Israel Adesanya was just playing with him?
I thought he was like to some extent having fun with it, playing with him a little bit. But
when you look at what Adesanya has done, for him to have just a one-sided affair with Paulo Costa, Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker to knock out the greatest middleweight of all time in the second round so easily, begs the question, how good is Adesanya? And then a decision, when, it makes you just think, I hate thinking about it, but yeah, maybe he was playing with him. Or is Adesanya still got it?
you
Or
were
does Anderson Silva still have it?
you were there
Because
for that
Anderson
fight,
Silva,
right?
no.
You didn't watch that fight live?
Oh, yeah, I watched the fight live. I thought you meant, was I there at the venue?
Yeah, there. I thought you were there. Wasn't that because I was in Japan? Remember?
Yeah,
That
I
one?
was watching it at the Prince.
The Prince fight. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
For some
Yeah,
reason,
I
I
was on
thought
the...
you went to Melbourne for that one.
No, I
Yeah,
was on the
no.
Source, mate. We were going to
Yeah.
go. We were going to go. We were booked to go, but then you had that trip.
Yes, we
So
did.
I pulled
Yeah,
out of
fuck.
it.
I missed it. Yeah, no. Well, look,
So I just
in a
got
way,
on the Source and spent my airfare money on bets.
it wouldn't. So many fucking Anderson Silva KO markets fucking just went completely to waste.
That owes me money. I'm hoping to win it back this Sunday.
But man, yeah, to me, the last two fights he had, aside from the Adesanya fight, whatever you make of it, or whatever you think. So these two fights, this fight, including with the Jared Cannonier fight, we're looking at him fighting athletes. These are athletes. This is what we were talking about before. Like very athletic people with the ability to have a lot of power. But to me, overall, I think Anderson's going to struggle much like he did with Cannonier. I'm not going to predict around. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it for what it is. We've both had our say. We want this motherfucker to win. Please, Anderson, win. Go out. Fucking, because...
Can we all just make an agreement that we watch the fight, root for Anderson, but let's not put money on it.
Let's do it. That's what it is. All right, Fightday Fanboy episode 3. Thank you for joining me again, Peter. You're the man. Let's see how we go with this card.
Pleasure.
Let's enjoy it and let's start throwing some front kick KOs. All right, fucking
snap kicks to the chin.
in respect to the spider. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in.